Hi students, I'm Dr. Bhavna. In this lecture, we are going to continue with the topic that is called as biodiversity. So already in the last class, we already have started with biodiversity and we have done what is biodiversity, who coined the term of biodiversity. So the famous scientist called as Edward Wilson uh, coined the term biodiversity. So in that we have seen what are the types of biodiversity. So in the types of biodiversity, it is genetic, ecological and species diversity. So there are three different varieties of biodiversity which we see. And again in that, again we are classifying it under how many species are there. Actually there are about 70% of species. And 70% are animals and only 22% belong to plants. So majority of the are belonging to animals and only 20% is belonging to plants. And then we have started with what are the important species, how they contribute to the biodiversity. So in the species and its biodiversity topic, two famous scientists called as Tillman as well as Paul Ehrlich. So Tillman, a famous scientist. Till now, we have seen only one scientist, and other one is species area relationship. I'll discuss. So Tillman, a famous scientist. Normally, if you see a community, what it is a stable community, normal community. So in that community, what will happen? Generally, the species should be constant there. If there is no variation in the species should be generally constant there. So there should be minimal changes which is happening in that. Suppose any natural disasters or something come also, there should be, or man-made any deforestation, species should be constant there. Then only it is called as stable community. So basically a stable community very rarely you see, because some man-made systems and all, you'll see so many changes that are related to that. So Tillman is saying there are many less yearly variations, so that species will be very constant there. So he's saying that species are constant in a large area and they show minimal variation. So Tillman he told like that. Who told that the species will show yearly minimal variations? Who will show means Tillman. The another famous scientist called as Paul Ehrlich. He described about rivet hypothesis. Rivet Popper hypothesis. Who gave the term rivet poppet hypothesis is Paul Ehrlich. Don't get so much confused. I'm trying to explain in a easy manner for you. This topic is considered under what is the importance of more species to the ecosystem. So, for a stable community, if there are minimal changes in the man-made structures or any, if there are many minimal changes also, it should not affect the species number. That only is specifying. And Tillman, a famous scientist, he told that there are very minimal variations which are happening. And then Paul Ehrlich, he gave the term rivet popper hypothesis. He says that suppose he took a flight as an example. In the flight, what you see, numerous parts will be there. They are connected by rivets. Suppose numerous parts will be there in the flight. They all are connected by rivets. So he is referring this as numerous parts, means this full he is saying it as ecosystem. Rivets he is specifying as species. So in these rivets as species, when he is specifying, he is saying that if some passengers who are traveling in the flight, if they remove each rivet, means if they remove the attachments between the parts and they take home, the flight will collapse. If some they take out, it is okay, but if all they take out, it is a very much problem. So he giving example of an flight. So now you take it as ecosystem. Suppose this is a full ecosystem. numerous species will be present. These rivets are species. If each one of us who are not interested in environment and all, who will cut down the forest, suppose in India, some people are cutting down the forest. In America, some people are cutting down the forest. So, if one forest is like deforested, no problem. But if all species, many and many species, if they are getting endangered or getting extinct, then this full ecosystem will collapse. Later, we humans also can't survive. So, this process, why he is explaining, to conserve the biodiversity, to give the good example for that of biodiversity, he's saying. So biodiversity and its conservation means you should how species are good examples for that of ecosystem, that is important, as well as how do you save them, how you will prevent them from getting extinct. That is the important question that you should remember. So in Neet, if they ask who showed less minimal variations according to species means Stillman, then who showed rivet poppet hypothesis is Paul Ehrlich. So these are the two famous scientists. Edward Wilson, biodiversity. Next we have discussed about patterns of biodiversity. Again in patterns of biodiversity, two important points. Already we have discussed in the last class, but again I am explaining you. So in patterns, if anyone have missed the class, just go to the last class and see. It is very useful for you. So in these two main important patterns of biodiversity, one is latitudinal gradients, the second one is species area relationship. So in latitudinal gradients, by name only you can understand. Near the equator, so many species will be present. Means in tropical areas, more amount of species are present. Near the poles or near the temperate regions, very minimal species are present. So here what is happening basically? So many amount of species are present, and this fully is contributing to that of good ecosystem. Like near the equator, why near the equator only more species are seen? Because they are having so much of sunlight. Suppose Rajasthan and all will have more sunlight, and they are less seasonal. Less seasonal means not very cold or very hot, like that moderate temperature is maintained for them. And in the earlier days also, snow caps and all are not found in the tropical areas. So like that, only small areas are present, like small ice caps, they are present in Jammu and Kashmir, those temperate areas. So these are associated with less glaciations in the past. I think you all are understanding regarding this. I'm going very slow because ecosystem 8 to 9 marks in Neet will be asked based on this full ecosystem. Like one chapter to one or two questions will be asked. That's why I'm stressing each and every point for you. I'm repeating also in the last class what I have revised also, I'm repeating so that it will be very useful. Still, if you want to go more deep into that, just go out and check the last videos. So if you go and check the last videos, there will be a good continuation for you. Just you see my classes and go for Neet exam. It will be very much beneficial for you. It will be in the last minute also, if you write from my notes important points and just go and sit for your exam, enough. Zoology is like out of 45 questions, almost you can answer 43 questions, because one or two questions they'll ask in related to other extra syllabus or tough questions will be there. Almost 43 questions you can answer. I have done almost so many videos regarding first year and second year. Now we are going with ecology topic, right? So this is also very important in Neet point of view. So this I want you all to remember clearly. So the second point is related to that of the patterns of biodiversity species area relationship. In the last class, I have drawn a graph representing the rectangular hyperbola. See, suppose this is a rectangular hyperbola. These are species. This is area. So, log S equal to log C plus Z log A. So here the important point that you should remember is, as area increases, species also will increase. Whenever the area will increase, species also will increase in number. but only up to a limit they will increase. After that, they cannot increase because species also won't be more in number, right? So, if area increases, species will increase, but only up to a limit. This was given by Alexander von Humboldt. A famous scientist called as Alexander von Humboldt gave species area relationship. But till now, four scientists we have discovered. First, Edward Wilson, biodiversity. Next, Tillman, less yearly variations which are happening. Then, Paul Eric rivet poppet hypothesis. Then, species area relationship is log S equal to log C plus Z log A. That is the important thing that you should remember. Then Alexander von Humboldt have given this. And so the S is species, A is area in this. Then Z is slope of the line, C is Y intercept. Z is only important here. Z only varies from one area to another based on the number of species. So Z is usually 0.1 to 0.2. In larger areas, it is 0.6 to 1.2. This is for large areas. Then normally it is 0.1 to 0.2, 0.6 to 1.2 for larger areas. For fruit eating birds, fungivorous birds, or else who eat seeds, for them the Z value is 1.5. I want you all to remember clearly because every time in NEET question this they will ask. So 0.1 to 0.2, 0.6 to 1.2, Z is for 1.5. For fungivorous birds, seed-eating birds, it is 1.5. For larger areas, it is 0.6 to 1.2. Normally, it is Z equal to 0.1 to 0.2. So these are the important questions that you should remember. Then another important thing that you should remember is relating to Z. We have completed the species area relationship, patterns of biodiversity and all. Then next we are going to continue with another topic that is called as loss of biodiversity. So till now what we have seen is how species are contributing to that of ecosystem, what are the patterns of biodiversity and all. From now we will see how the loss of biodiversity happened and how should we conserve. That is the important topic that you should remember. So loss of biodiversity. So, how is the loss of biodiversity taking place? Now, do you believe or not, 15,000 species are about to get extinct now. Means you cannot see them forever. Why you're getting extinct? There are so many reasons why there is loss of biodiversity. The main reasons I will tell you, but for now remember 15,000 species are going to get extinct. Till now, how many species got extinct is 784 species. About 784. See, in biodiversity, that's why I tell you, for easy remembrance, you should read more because all numericals only will be there. How many species are getting extinct? How many species are present? Each how many species are present? Like that, everything it will vary. For in Amazon rainforest, because it is called as lungs of the planet, so many species will be there. Each variety, how many species are there? That is very much important. So about 784 species are getting extinct. 784. So in this 784, they are got extinct. 15,000 are going to get extinct. Means you cannot see the species variety forever. Why all this is happening? So it occurs due to four reasons, as I have specified you. The first one is habitat loss and fragmentation. First one is habitat loss and fragmentation. Second is alien species invasion. The third one is coextinction. Fourth is overexploitation. So basically, like this loss of biodiversity is taking place. And the important point now you should remember regarding this is till now what species got extinct, the main species which got extinct are important neat question every alternative year they'll ask. The first one is dodo. Dodo. It's an animal, it got extinct. It belongs to Mauritius, a place in the US. So Dodo Mauritius. Next, Quagga, which is belonging to Africa. Thylacine, which is belonging to Australia. Stellar's sea cow, Russia. Then Bali, Javan, Caspian. These all are the subspecies which are belonging to main species called as tiger. So now I want to say you these are the main common examples which I told you 784 species got extinct. These are the main species which got extinct. One is dodo, which is belonging to Mauritius, quagga, Africa, thylacine, Australia, stellar sea cow, Russia, Bali, Javan, Caspian of tiger. So 15,000 species and 784 species. Then why these all species are getting extinct? These due to these four reasons: habitat loss and fragmentation, alien species invasion, co-extinction, and overexploitation. Important neat question is these they'll ask. Quagga belongs to Africa. Dodo Mauritius. Stellar sea cow important neat question Russia. Thylacine Australia. Bali, Javan, Caspian, what are these subspecies which got extinct and which belong to which species? They belong to tiger. So that is one important neat question which is asked. Mostly they'll ask stellar sea cow and tiger only, mostly. And sometimes they may ask these also. So this is related to that of how the loss of biodiversity is taking place. Now about each thing we will see in detail. Now, first one, habitat loss and fragmentation. In this habitat loss and fragmentation, what is happening? I want you to clearly remember in the habitat loss and fragmentation. See, normally this is the main most important point where plants and animal species are getting extinct in this habitat loss and fragmentation. Rest all they are not so much affected, but habitat loss and fragmentation only most plant and animal species are getting extinct. So in that basically in the habitat loss and fragmentation, I want you to clearly remember that about 14% of the land's surface, 14% of the land's surface is occupied by forests. But now only 6% is occupied by forest. The world's area, the world's total surface area, 14% is by forest. Only now 6% only they are occupying. Why there is so much change from 14% to 6%? Because in this habitat loss and fragmentation, so many they are cultivating beans, soya beans. Suppose Amazon rainforest you take, all the deforestation is taking place. For so many needs, deforestation is taking place. So what is happening now? For cultivation of soya beans and all, they are cutting down the forest. So for this only, because they are cutting down the forest, so many species they can't survive on the plants, nor some animals like insects and all, and they are dying. So like this, habitat loss and fragmentation is the main important thing which is contributing to a loss of species. The main important step which is contributing, important neat question like that they'll ask, which is the most important step which is contributing to loss of plant and animal species. It is nothing but habitat loss and fragmentation. Next, so this they have given from 14% to 6%, and about Amazon rainforest they have specified. Then next we are talking about co-extinction first. So in co-extinction, by name only you can understand. Co-extinction means what? Two species will combine with each other and survive. But here what is happening in co-extinction is, if one species die, the other species also will die. Take the example of plants pollinator mechanism. If plants die, the bees which will survive on the nectar of the flowers, they will also die. They, because they can't pollinate the flowers, as well as they won't get the nectar. So plant pollinator mechanism is an example of co-extinction, as well as host and parasite. Suppose a host can survive without parasite, but parasite can survive with the host only. If host only die, the main one, if the host die, then parasites also will die, right? So host and parasite are contributing to co-extinction. So both the species will combine and get extinct. Plant pollinator mechanism, plant pollination mechanism, as well as another important thing is, like till now I have told you, first is host and parasite. So two are done related to loss of biodiversity. Don't get so much confused. Till now we have done what is the importance of species to the environment, how we can survive with the species, how the patterns of biodiversity, how the species will vary from place to place. Now we have started with loss of biodiversity, how it is taking place, and how species are getting extinct, how should we conserve them, and all is taking place now. So, first we have started with habitat loss and fragmentation. In that, we have given a common example of Amazon rainforest. Before they used to cover, means all rainforest, tropical rainforest, they used to cover 14% of the Earth's land surface. Now they are only 6%. Why this is happening? Because so much deforestation and all for cultivation of soya beans and all we are getting, and which is the important step is, important need question is habitat loss and fragmentation. The second one is co-extinction, that is two species will survive with each other, and they cause plant pollinator mechanism as well as host parasite relationship. So in this co-extinction, two species both will die. Plant pollination mechanism means a plant as well as a pollinator both will die if one species is not performing its action perfectly. Then host and parasite also the same view. Next, when you come to over exploitation, this is also the another important cause. Over extra exploitation means what? We humans, we need food, water, shelter to survive. we need shelter. So what we will do in forests also, we will cultivate the, like we will build numerous houses and all in forests also. So we are destroying so much amount of forest, or else we will get so many apartments or so many houses. How we all are able to survive? We are cutting down the numerous forests. We are not finding in any area, we don't find normally think in early man times, you don't find the houses there, right? Suddenly you don't find houses. If you cut the forest and make the area smooth only, you will find houses. So for food also, numerous plants we cut down for food, mangoes from mango trees and all. Numerous plants we cut down also for numerous food and shelter purposes. So this is over exploitation. Normally exploitation is good, but we humans, due to greed and all, because we also should survive, right? Because so many people are there and we should get so much amount of food and shelter. So due to this, we all are over exploiting the nature. And two common examples which were given are, almost about two main species were lost due to over exploitation by humans. That is nothing but stellar sea cow. I told you, Russia. Stellar sea cow got eradicated or got exploited due to over exploitation. It got extinct. Stellar sea cow as well as passenger pigeon. Stellar sea cow and passenger pigeon got extinct due to over exploitation by humans. So this is related to over exploitation by humans. The last one we are left out with, alien species invasion. So once I'll revise and see habitat loss, and they'll ask you like which is the main step. They'll ask one important Neet question, habitat loss and fragmentation. And this they won't ask 14% now from to 6%, that is not important. Then next, over exploitation, they'll give you stellar sea cow, passenger pigeon got extinct due to the following reasons. They'll give you habitat loss, alien species, over exploitation, coextinction. The answer is over exploitation. Whenever you see the word stellar sea cow, passenger pigeon, it is over exploitation only. Then plant pollination mechanism as well as host parasite. Host parasite, you can understand coextinction. Plant pollinator, that also you can understand coextinction. Still we are left over with alien species invasion. So the last one which contribute to loss of biodiversity is alien species invasion. Suppose if aliens come to our planet and they survive, are we able to survive there? No. Like that only, if some species from other area are coming and residing in the area where all other fishes live or where other people live, these cannot survive. That's why they are called as alien species. Suppose a common example was given as Nile perch. Nile perch, when it is introduced into Lake Victoria, a famous lake called as Lake Victoria, when a bird called as Nile perch, when it was introduced into the Lake Victoria, then numerous species got extinct there. That is about 200 cichlid fishes got extinct there. Why they got extinct is due to introduction of alien species, they got extinct. But if they are surviving and if no alien species has come into there, they all can survive happily. As well as another numerous seaweeds also. When they were introduced into the lakes, numerous seaweeds like Parthenium, carrot grass, or Eichhornia. These all are different types of plants. When they were introduced into lakes and all, they only dominated the lake, and there are other plants called as phytoplanktons. which there only they can survive. They are not able to survive there due to introduction of alien species here. Then another African catfish called as Clarius. African catfish. Clarius, when it was introduced again into the environment, again numerous fishes got extincted. Other fishes got extinct. So the main important point that you should remember is alien species invasion. So when alien species are introduced into the environment, then the routine, those which are living there, will get extinct. The famous example is Nile perch, which was introduced into Lake Victoria. 200 fishes got extinct. Parthenium, Charadus, Icornia, which were introduced, they also got extinct. Then African catfish called as Clarius, when it was introduced also, numerous fishes got extinct. So here they'll give you these example and ask you to identify which is the most common cause of biodiversity. So they'll ask you one thing. They'll ask you Nile perch introduced into Victoria is an example of overexploitation. So many will get confused. Overexploitation, only one thing. Stella sea cow, passenger pigeon. That's all. Rest is like co-extinction, you can understand. Habitat loss, you can understand. Last, what is left over is alien species invasion. So these are the main causes which lead to loss of biodiversity. And now we are in the next class we will continue of how do we conserve the biodiversity, how it is very important to conserve the biodiversity. Okay.